Hi everyone, welcome to Color by Feliks. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to go over the materials I'm going to use. So this is a 11 by 14 inch studio canvas. It's already gessoed and ready to go. For acrylics we're going to use my 24 set here, and I'll show you which colors from this set. Medium yellow, orange, Scarlet Red, Sap Green, Viridian, Cobalt Blue, Ultramarine Blue, and Burnt Umber. And then for my 5 set, we're going to use Titanium White and Carbon Black. And then for brushes, I'm going to use 2 of these M1 blending brushes. One, I like to dab in the water and then pick up my paint and lay it out where I want the paint to be. And then the second, I work dry, so I lightly blend everything in. It works really good, and I'll show you exactly how I do this. And then I'm going to use an M2 blending brush for the smaller sections. And then for the 4-piece brush set, it comes in a pack. I'll show you what's inside. I'm going to be using number 8 and number 4. This is like they're kind of like filbert style, and they work good for like adding bushes and things like that. And then 1/2 inch flat brush, and then a 0 detail brush for all the details that we're going to add to this piece. And then of course we need palette paper, and I'm using my palette paper here. It has 40 sheets. Once you're done, you can bunch it up and throw it away. Very nice to use. Need a palette knife to mix your paint, a jar of water, and some paper towels. All these materials I'm using today are available at ColorByFeliks.com if you're interested in learning more about them. But let's go and get to mixing. So before we get to mixing, I actually will want to show you my design. I created this design and sketched out, I made it up real quick, and so I wanted to paint this today. So we'll see what happens. So let's pick up Titanium White, and I'm going to add about a thumb amount of white, and I'm going to do like 4 shades, and each time I add a little bit less of white. Now always close your lid on your paint. Next is Cobalt Blue. We're going to add a little bit here and a touch here. Actually a little more on the second time. And then Ultramarine Blue, a touch there, and then a little bit more, like a thumb amount on the third one and the last one. And then Carbon Black, a small amount right there, and then a little bit more right there. And so we're going to pick up our palette knife and start mixing. So basically the goal here is to create a gradient, because we want to work from the furthest distance, which is the sky, right? And we're going to create a gradient from lightest to darkest. So you saw I added more white on the first one, so you will see the colors start to, transition from light to dark. So I'm going to mix that real quick, and you can start seeing already a nice transition. And when you have a nice transition like this, it's easy to blend the colors. So we're going to have our water jar, and then pick up our M2 blending brush, because the canvas is smaller, so I'm going to work on, I'm going to use this brush to lay out the colors. Pick up our lightest color. I like to start with the lightest, and I'm going to just kind of cover a little bit lower than half the canvas. And each time I pick up more paint, I like to dab my brush in the water, and I'll show you. When I feel like it needs a little more water, I dab it like this, and then I pick up more paint and start laying out my colors where I want it to be. So I like to swirl because it covers all the little textures of the canvas, and it like fills in evenly all around. So that's why I swirl and kind of, start blending lightly, but not too much. And when you see the bubbles a little bit like this, that's good. That's what water does. It helps kind of keep the acrylics wet longer, so you have time for blending. So that's why I like to use water, a little bit of it, in my brush. So you see, I'm not really focused on blending it. I'm just kind of lightly blending it, but not too much. I'm just laying out my colors real quick. And this is real time. I'm not speeding this process because I wanted you guys to see how fast it really is to blend, and once you catch the technique, it's super fun and easy to do. So this is all real time, and I'm just, every time I move my brush, I pick up more paint or lightly dab in the water and pick up more paint. Once I'm done laying all my colors, I put my brush in the water, and then I pick up my M1 blending brush and I work dry, right? And I'm gonna swirl gently and work my way upwards. You see how I'm lightly pressing and carrying the paint upwards, which allows for a smooth blend, as you could see. So I'm lightly pressing and creating a smooth blend, taking all the brush strokes out. And now after that, I let the canvas dry, and then I'm working on the next section, which is the clouds. Now I want to make it fun. I don't want to just make it like realistic clouds, so I'm gonna be creative and just kind of go with the flow and make it look interesting. So I'm having fun with this. I mix some colors, like a little bit of white and orangey and pink colors, and I'm kind of putting them all together and making it up as I go, right? Just creating my fun abstract clouds, you could say. And I'm using a number 4 brush, and I like to dab my number 4 brush in the water and then work kind of damp with it and use them with the paint. It works well with like blending and things like that. So I'm gonna work a little bit here and fill in all the holes, and then after that I go with detail. And I didn't record that part, but as you could see, the clouds has a lot of detail to it. And then here, you still working with my number 4 brush, I'm kind of sketching my trees out, and then I mix some colors, and I decided to make like fall colors, colorful trees. So I did some orange trees, I'm gonna do some green trees, so I just mix some colors and shades to fill in the trees. Once I got the sketch of my trees, I mixed some colors for my ground and grass, and I'm gonna add the base coat to my ground. And it's always all about layers. So this is the first layer, right, of my trees and kind of the grass. So I quickly sketch out my idea, and these are the rocks. And I go back and start detailing the trees again and the grass again and all that beautiful fun stuff. So that's how I like to work, right? I like to kind of work in layers, and the more layers you start to add, the more like it comes to, it makes it look more interesting, So as you can see, now I'm working on the grass part, and I'm created some shades, different tones, and trying to make it look a little bit rough And I'm using my number 4 and number 8 brush to do that. Now I go back to the trees and fill in and start to kind of shape it and make it more defined. And now with a detail brush, I start to outline and go over the trees and add all the beautiful details to my trees and the grass and around the rocks, and you'll see I'll start to work on all the little things that we don't really see, like the shadows and things like that. Like to the trees, I went over with the colors again, and that's what I did with the rocks. Like the first layer, as you saw, was like a sketch, and now I'm actually filling in and making it more like, making it stand out a little more. I want to remind you guys that if you're interested in learning step by step, every month I release a new lesson for my mentorship program, and the link will be down below if you're interested. But here it is. This is a finished piece. I had a lot of fun making it up and just kind of going with the flow and practicing, right? And so I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and God bless.